New Fields. This is organized by the Indy Chamber. Civic leaders, business professionals coming out to, yes, socialize. There is food and drinks, but really a lot of eyes are going to be on this debate, and you're about to walk the room.
A lot of opinions out there, so I'm going to go walk around and Hob Nob myself. So
okay.
I'll leave you up here.
All right. Thanks,
all right,
Mike. We'll see you soon. I'm joined now by Abdul Hakim Shabazz, a WIBC contributor and Indy Politics producer. So, Abdul, thanks for being with us, first of all. A huge night for these candidates. You have watched and analyzed all of the debates leading up to this and have had a lot to say. What makes tonight so important?
Well, the first thing is, if you're home playing a drinking game and you take a shot every time Mike Braun says outsider or Joe Donnelly says healthcare, you'll probably be hammered by about 7:15, so do not do the drinking game.
Okay, so this is going to be a real interview right now.
Yeah, no, but all due seriousness, I mean, this is very important. I mean, all the polling that's been done, the polling we did at IndyPolitics.org shows a very, very close race between Joe Donnelly, Mike Braun, and there's enough undecideds that Lucy Britton can have an impact on which one of these two folks goes to the U.S. Senate.
Okay, let's talk about Lucy, because right now about 3% of voters have said that they're going to vote for Lucy Britton, Libertarian. 8% are undecided. That makes her a potential spoiler. And in fact, in recent weeks, the Democratic Party has sent out flyers urging Democrats to vote Libertarian. Explain that and the strategy behind it.
A couple things. I've never subscribed to the theory that third parties are spoilers. I mean, they work, they got on the ballot, they are just their vote, their place on the ballot is just as good as anyone else. No one owns anybody's vote. Now, if you're a Democrat, what they've probably done is targeted in their mailers voters who probably voted in a Republican and Democrat primary and maybe switch, saying those voters might be the ones who are undecided. So if you think about Mike Braun, don't vote for him because he's raised taxes. Vote for Lucy Britton. This is actually a tactic that I want to say Joe Donnelly used back in the mid-2000s when he ran against Jackie Walorski, and apparently it worked to get him into Congress.
Interesting. So we might be seeing a repeat here. Let's talk about the issues. Voters have said health care, the economy, big, important topics for them. Yet we've heard not a whole lot. We've heard mostly attack ads from these candidates, especially Braun and Donnelly. What can we expect tonight? Any specific topic addressing here?
Well, if you try to, if you're these candidates, you're basically, this is your time to make closing arguments and try to seal the deal. Like I said, the fact that there's so many undecided voters still out there enough to make a difference should worry both campaigns. If you're Joe Donnelly, if somebody was undecided still, are they still likely going to maybe give you a vote? And if you're Mike Braun, why haven't you gotten those people on board? So I can see sort of both candidates playing sort of a dual track. A, talk to their bases to make sure they stay motivated to get out and vote. So look for Joe Donnelly, talk about health care. He was a deciding vote. Mike Braun talk about, Judge Kavanaugh and Mike and Donald Trump needs a partner. But at the same time, maybe they may try to show a little bit of independence and maybe appeal to some of those more moderate, independent voters who are still in that 8 to 11% undecided.
So would you say it's fair to say goals for tonight for these two candidates specifically, don't make any major mistakes, A, and B, try to separate yourself from the other, which has been a challenge for both of these candidates so far. They're relatively similar because this is Indiana. Explain our voter base here.
Yeah, this is Indiana. This is a state that Donald Trump won by 20 points. You can't ignore that, and that's why both the candidates are trying to appeal to sort of the Trump voter, but from a different perspective. Mike Braun's been trying to appeal to the Trump loyalists. Joe Donnelly's been trying to basically say, hey, Trump voter, you may not agree with me, but don't vote against me because I supported the president on the wall, but I believe in health care, I agree with him on, these XYZ. So Joe's been trying to sort of triangulate himself, with those voters who, maybe like the way things are going, but not necessarily be crazy about Donald Trump. Once again, the challenge is, how do you walk that fine line to keep your base happy and appeal to the independent voter?
Okay. Abdul Hakim Shabazz, thanks so much, as always, for your insight. We'll talk more with you, I'm sure, throughout the night. But let's send it out to Mike Bars, who is walking the room. Mike.
Yeah, lots of important people out here. A lot of people trying to get their ears bent by some of the folks here as well. One of those is Congresswoman Susan Brooks, representing District 5, and you've got your own little race going on right now.
Yes, and it's great. We're closing in on the last week, and really excited to be here. There's a lot of energy here. People are excited to watch the Senate debate. That's where most of the attention is in the state of Indiana. But I think people are excited to watch that, excited for the race to be over. But, there's just so much happening in the country that I think we'll hear about a lot of different things that we haven't heard about in past debates.
Yeah, it seems like in the past few debates, at least my observation is they've kind of gone after each other, and there's a lot of issues that people really want to hear about, like health care and immigration. Is that what you're kind of hearing from your constituents?
No, absolutely. I visited a company in Noblesville today, Metroplastics, and they were talking about the healthcare costs and the issues that they have as an employer. But also I was up in Marion at the Rotary today, visiting with their Rotary Club, and you know, people do have concerns and a lot of questions about immigration. They also asked me about the national debt. But I think since the last debate, we've got the issue of domestic terrorism. I mean, and as a former U.S. attorney, after 9/11, we dealt with domestic terrorism, the anthrax attack in the nation's capital, and hoaxes all around the country, as well as, of course, the 9/11 attacks. And so I think there's more of a focus now than there was in the past on issues, you know, involving the hate in the country and the divide, but also the anti-Semitism and what has happened in Pittsburgh. And I was pleased to be a part of the Indianapolis Hebrew Congregation event last night, where faith communities came together and the community came together to say we will not tolerate anti-Semitism.
Yeah, and the tone in Washington right now, what's the overall tone?
We've been out of Washington for most of the month, but I have to say, I mean, there is so much focus on all of these very important elections around the country, and I think though people want to find a way to bring the country together, and they know that this kind of terror and this kind of hate is not who we are. Our country was founded on religious freedom and on being able to worship in a place of worship in peace. And what happened in Pittsburgh is so horrific. And for the Jewish community in particular, they've been sharing with all of us the rise of anti-Semitism, and we're now seeing it, and we must stop it.
We'll see if that becomes a topic here tonight as well. Congresswoman, thank you so much. Pleasure to see you. I'm sure you're ready for Tuesday as well. All right, we'll be right back here from Newfields after the break.
We are back. We are back here at Toby Theater at Newfields for the Hob Nob event leading up to the final Indiana Senate debate tonight, featuring Senator Joe Donnelly, Mike Braun, and Lucy Brenton. The Hob Nob is a gathering of civic leaders and business professionals, all mingling with candidates. Right now, I'm joined by Carrie Hamilton, state representative. Thanks for being with us.
My pleasure.
You represent District 87. Tell us about District 87.
So District 87 is the best district in Indiana. It includes the northern part of Indianapolis, part of Washington Township, and part of Lawrence Township.
Okay, and this Hob Nob event, by the way, is sponsored by or put together by the Indy Chamber. And Carrie is, what would you say, the candidate that is endorsed by the Indy Chamber. That's a big deal. Talk about that.
Yeah, I'm really honored to be endorsed by the Indy Chamber. The Chamber does really important work to make sure that our business community and our people thrive. I'm really impressed with them and proud to partner with them for the past 2 years in the legislature. And then to get their endorsement this time around for my re-election campaign is really important to me.
Tonight, the Hob Nob is quite an impressive event. Normally does not include a live debate, but tonight it does, so it's a bigger night. But you have a lot of people, as you can see behind us, filling. Yes, it is a social event. There is food and drinks, but really a lot of people are keeping their eyes and ears open to what the candidates have to say tonight. Why is it important to bring together both candidates and people from the community to have a chance to meet face to face?
Well, I can tell you, I've actually met a few business owners from my district already this evening. And that's really important for me to understand the businesses in my community that I'm serving and what their needs are and how that relates to how the state does business.
Carrie Hamilton, thanks so much for joining us tonight. Have a great night, and we'll send it back to Mike Bars, who is out walking the room. Mike.
Walking the room, talking to some of the folks out here. One of the advertisers as well for this event is Fairway Outdoor Advertising. Austin Davis works for them. And Austin, why is this Hob Nob so important to get out here and meet some of the local leaders?
Sure, definitely. As a member of the business community here in Indianapolis, it's important that we support the Indianapolis Chamber of Commerce in this really important debate that's going on here tonight. It has huge implications for the state, the citizen, also the business community here. And then also as someone who has a business development role here, it's a great opportunity for me to meet politicians, business leaders, special interest folks, and also ordinary citizens, and talk to them about ways my company can help them get their messaging, their ideas out to the business community through out-of-home advertising. Yeah,
I think a billboard has been pretty popular these days with a lot of these candidates.
Yeah, very popular. So billboards year over year has grown 3 to 5%. So it's definitely a growing advertising medium, and in a commuter-heavy city like Indianapolis, where folks are driving a lot to and from work or to and from their hobbies and passions, you can't miss it. So it's a really good, effective way for a politician or a business leader to cut through the advertising clutter.
And also, I imagine with this debate, what do you want to see out of the politicians? What are the things you're looking for?
Well, a lot of it's, just rhetoric and honesty as well, and hearing not only what their positions are, but why their positions are what they are, and how those positions are going to benefit and impact Hoosiers in a positive sense. So I'll definitely be watching closely, and then it's great that the media does such a great job fact-checking, so I'll be checking those facts after this debate today.
We'll be doing that for you. Austin Davis, thank you so much with Fairway Outdoor Advertising. We got much more coming from out here as we gear up for the debate. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back here to Toby Theater at Newfields. I'm Brooke Martin, along with Mike Bars, who is out in the room at the Hob Nob. It is an event put on by the Indy Chamber to bring together civic leaders, business professionals, along with candidates. Right now, I want to introduce you to Tom Schneider. He is with the Alpha Tau Omega, a national fraternity, one of the Chamber's members. Tom, thanks for being with us.
It's great to be here, Brooke.
Yeah, so let's talk about this event, why you're a part of the Chamber, and what tonight really means.
Well, Alpha Tau Omega, also known as ATO, is just wants to be a good corporate citizen. We support the Chamber. We've been involved with the Chamber. Politically, we're not active in terms of endorsing candidates, but I'm here just because I've got an interest in the political realm, and particularly in this debate that's very close between two of the three candidates.
You said that you're involved in actually a council of the Chamber. Talk about what specific council that is and what you do in it.
Sure. It's the Transportation, Infrastructure, and Environment Council of the Chamber. We look at a lot of the issues that have to do with any of those three topics as it pertains to Indianapolis and central Indiana. And our council will make recommendations and just study whatever issues are going on.
And that's what we've seen so much tonight is different businesses, organizations who are members of the Chamber who are truly members just to make Indianapolis a better place, and they're working really hard to do that. Tonight, you mentioned it is nonpartisan for the organization for ATO. However, you said there is something specific you would like to see tonight in these candidates. What is that?
There is, Brooke. In regard to all the events the last week or two in our country, the shooting in Kentucky, the heartbreaking synagogue shooting in Pittsburgh, and then also the man who was arrested in Florida sending the pipe bombs through the mail. I want to see all three of these candidates address the whole issue of civility and toning down the rhetoric. None of these three are extremists. I don't want them wasting time trying to paint each other that way. Now, of the three, I think Joe Donnelly has spent 6 years being the epitome of civility. He's done a great job on that score and continues to do a great job. But I would love to see the three of them address that issue. I think other things, the federal deficit, tariffs, sensible immigration reform are all important. But I think we've got to get the civility issue right between Republicans and Democrats.
A lot of different issues people are going to be looking for tonight, looking to hear from these candidates. But for now, I'm going to send it back to Mike Bars. He is talking with attendees and candidates in the room tonight. Mike?
Yeah, and I'm talking to the CEO of the Indy Chamber, Michael Huber, and pretty good turnout here tonight.
Yeah, it's great. This is the first time trying something like this. Obviously, it's a U.S. Senate debate with national implications, and as a business organization, we've got a lot of people from both sides of the aisle and independents who are able to come out tonight and watch the debate. So yeah, we're excited.
Why is it so important for the business community to kind of interact with the local leaders here?
Yeah, the national dialogue is pretty toxic right now, and I think that's regardless of which side of the aisle that you're on. And nationally, there's so many issues right now. Both in terms of facing our society, but then some very specific things that impact Indiana, like tariff policy and trade policy and things like that. So our members, it's largely a business audience, are going to be watching this with great interest.
Yeah, you said you watch with great interest, but you're not taking any sides here.
Yeah, no, we're the Indy Chamber, so we focus on the Indy metropolitan area. We don't get involved in federal races, but we do make it a point to really know our members. We know our senators well. We know our members of Congress well, so that people from business and community leaders can interact with them. So we have a lot of people who know the individuals well and are going to watch the debate with great interest.
Well, Michael, we appreciate you having us out here. You guys have been great. Indy Chamber, Michael Huber, CEO. Let's toss it over to Marcus now. A little change of pace and get a look at the forecast out there. Marcus?
All right, thank you very much, Mike. Yeah, it's a very warm day across the area, but obviously the big headline in the weather world will be the rain coming in tomorrow, already taking shape out to our west. So timetable, I think the rest of your evening is dry. This is Futurecast taking you through daybreak tomorrow. There is scattered rain, a few heavy downpours, a few thunderstorms possible. That will continue through midday, although you'll get some breaks, I think, north of Indianapolis. The better chance for rain is going to be basically I-70 and south. That will continue through trick-or-treat times tomorrow. This is 5 o'clock tomorrow night. Indy south, rain, you're north of there, isolated showers. You see that dip down to the south through the mid-evening hours, and then the rain returns in full force overnight heading into Thursday morning. So right now, it depends on where you live, but you may get some breaks for trick-or-treating tomorrow evening. Here in Indy, I think rain's close enough to at least keep it in the forecast for tomorrow. 53 at 7 o'clock, 52 at 8, and 52 by around 9 o'clock tomorrow night. We do have a flood watch in effect tonight through Friday morning for our southeastern counties. Some areas could exceed 3 inches of rain in that watch area, so we'll keep a careful eye on that. Right now, we're at 69 degrees. Numbers are going to be fantastic as we start rolling through the next several days. 58 on Wednesday, and then 40s Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, running cool. Brooke, back to you.
All right, Marcus, thanks so much. Coming up, more from our half-hour special leading up to the final Indiana Senate debate. Stay with us. All right, welcome back to the Toby Theater at Newfields. I'm Brooke Martin along with Mike Bars as we are now minutes away from the final Indiana Senate debate.
It's a very important debate for sure. Let's toss it back to studio our Phil Sanchez, who's standing by with our political analyst. Phil?
Yeah, Mike, good evening to you guys. Professor Christy Sheeler teaches political communications at IUPUI, joining us tonight with a little more. Professor, good to see you again.
Thank you.
What does Joe Donnelly need to do to win tonight?
Joe Donnelly needs to maintain control of the issues tonight, and in particular those issues that are going to persuade those undecided voters, those moderate voters that may have migrated away from the Republican Party but don't identify as Democrats. So his independent positions, his bipartisan positions, and his maintaining control of those issues that impact Hoosiers are going to be important for him.
On the other side of the spectrum, Mike Braun, what does he need to do?
Mike Braun needs to fire up his base. Mike Braun needs to show that he's up to the task, that he has specific examples that are going to appeal to Hoosiers, and he also needs to have some examples that are really going to show that he is going to go to bat for Hoosiers in Washington.
And we talked about it earlier. Lucy Brenton can have a severe impact, and I know that Brooke and Mike mentioned it as well, can really pull voters away from Mike Braun, right?
I think so too. I think that if she can show that she has a really clear economic vision that might lure conservative economic voters away, she might have a chance at pulling some of those.
Okay, Professor, thank you.
Thank you.
We'll check back in with you later on after the debate. Brooke, we'll send it back to you.
All right, Phil, thanks so much. So this is it. This is a big night for these candidates, and this is why. Latest poll numbers, Mike Braun, 46%, Joe Donnelly, 43%, Lucy Brenton, 3%, but here's the key, 8% are undecided.
Undecided, that is the key, and so we'll see if people are going to make up their minds after watching this debate tonight. I know there's a lot of topics people want to talk about, gun control, immigration, budget deficit, much more coming up here at 7 o'clock.
Let's go to the debate live now.